So, in case you're wondering if drill arm is worth it, this is Carver without fibrous mechanites. It's just mining specialist and drill arm. Gods, I love bionics. Oh yeah, and we've got that architect leg. Alright, well, Maker is missing a leg, but I think that Buck would make more use out of it. It'll help her run away from any animals that go manhunt her, so let's give it to her. Alright, and thank the gods we've finally gotten that bionic tongue into Shaper, so now I can use all of her leadership role stuff. You know, in theory. I'm gonna forget to do it, but I could. Surgery failed on Buck. Oh, fuck! That was an architect, man! Oh, should have used Glitter World. Ah, that is so disappointing. Fuck, I spent so much money on that. Oh well. Okay, moisture pump is in. Let's start researching some guns. Oh, and that's cool. Look at that. Little bionic eye. That's so cool. Trade ship, huh? Okay, well, saw the sculpture. Do you have any advanced components? Sure do. Let's also buy a bionic arm, because it's not significantly more expensive to buy it outright than it is to buy the materials to make it. Yep, okay. Left leg and left arm are both gone, Jesus. Okay, it's gonna take a little while, but I've installed a couple of moisture pumps here, and eventually they'll drain away the water so that we can actually make use of this little room next to our freezer here. Carver, I wouldn't recommend you starting a social fight with one of our melee specialists. Just a thought. Suspend these operations until Carver's healed up. Let's see, hypothermia is setting in. That's good. That's good. We are just bashing through this. Oh, hey there, guys. How you doing? It's been a little while since we checked in. It's been about half a year. We just passed our last symbolic immolation, which was a pretty good one, I think. And some stuff's happened. We've made a lot of progress, actually. All of our colonists now have all of their major limbs, missing fingers, all that stuff. It's all been replaced with bionics. We got a couple torso scars and we got a couple prosthetic legs, but overall everything's fine, except for Maker here. We're gonna leave Maker's right hand just as it is, because as a body purist, he's already pretty unhappy, frankly, with the state of affairs here. So we might just do a bioregeneration pod, and we've only replaced the limbs that were blown clean off, which was most of them, because, you know, he's kind of unlucky. Now, oh, you might have noticed that this area looks a little blanker than it once does. Yeah, not as much stuff here. Might be wondering what happened to the electric tailor bench. Was there some sort of weird caravan? No, friends. No. So after I replaced everybody's bionics, it was getting pretty close to Tormentmas, you know, so I figured since everybody had just gotten all bionicked up and we didn't have to worry about the lost manipulation and all that garbage anymore, I was gonna celebrate with a raid. We sent out just about everybody except for Bot and Beaver on a little raid, and that went swimmingly. Killed some tribals, got some steel, no problem. But while everybody else was out, there was a siege. Yeah, someone came to raid me. How was that for quid pro quo? Well, no worries. I had 2 Doomsday rocket launchers. I don't know if you know what those things are, but they're basically shoulder-mounted nuclear weapons. I just gave one to Bot, had him tread down, and just fired one off right into the middle of the siege here. And it just, it broke the siege immediately. You can see it killed 4 pawns outright, 5 pawns outright actually. And you can see the blood from a few people who are surely gonna bleed to death before they get back home. But yeah, that was really successful and was just so satisfying. Look at the size of this explosion. Oh man, it did some damage. And I was feeling great. And then I get a notification. It says one of my huskies is just burned to death. You might also notice there's no prisoners here. Well, there was a bit of a prison break, and I figured, hell, I'll just leave it to my bears to deal with. There's more of them than ever. So I was just focused on dealing with that siege before anything too hinky happened. But something hinky did happen. Something very hinky happened. I come up to find my husky dead. Poor Husky 1. Destroyed. Everything's on fire. I don't know what happened. Did a mortar shell go off? No. This is all underground. This is under deep cover. The mortar shell didn't impact here, didn't look like. That's not where the damage was. It was all over here. Then I realized, Mortis here had managed to get past my bears. That's right, she got past my bears, snuck over to my other Doomsday rocket launcher, picked up the most powerful weapon in the game, and decided to fire it off at Husky 1, who was in the middle of my storeroom. Components? Gone. Hundreds of Thrumbo fur? Gone. How much did I lose? Well, let's put it this way. You can see here, this is where my caravan departed. Now all the weapons and armor and everything leaving the field. This here is the section where everything was going fine. Then the raid shows up, and on the day of the raid, I had a wealth of $133,000 and the colony. And after the raid, I was down to $119,000. That's right. In one day, I lost $13,000 worth of materials. One shot, $13,000 worth of materials. Gone forever. All right, so I'm going to be real. This is the most terrible and hilarious thing that had ever happened to me. Within seconds of firing off the first Doomsday of the run to break up a siege, a prisoner comes in, fires off another, and takes out about 10% of the wealth I had on the map at the time. So, Beaver decapitates Mortis. We put out all the fires. I give a great symbolic immolation speech. And now you're wondering, why didn't we get to see all of this, Candor? Well, let me show you the footage. See what this does. What's this look like? Oh! That'll do it. Husky burned to death. Whoa, what the fuck happened here? That's right, I fucked up on my OBS and there is no footage of any of that. Can you understand my frustration? That was like the most content I'd had in forever. But it is what it is. The good news is, none of my colonists died. In fact, we're up a colonist. Hunter here. He was the one known as Hippopotamus, you might have remembered him. And he's just perfect. It's really good to have a constructor, especially right now. You can see that right now he's making some standing lamps. That's because, as it turns out, insects will prefer to spawn in unlit areas. So by making sure that all of these areas are nice and lit, it'll hopefully force the insects to spawn deeper in here. That's the general goal. At the end of the day, though, it's enough dwelling on the past. So the first thing we're going to talk about here is horses. I've got a lot of horses. I don't need this many horses, but I'm going to keep them. I mean, I'm going to continue to slaughter them for loot. And I also built this little area here. I'm really happy with this one. So we finally got an indoor grow area that can give us all the heal roots, so we don't have to buy it anymore, as well as a little bit of cotton production for flak vests. And I've also got some hay grass. I'm not going to feed my horses using hay grass. Instead, I'm going to use it to put down some straw matting in a barn. Ultimately, I think it's time that we move the horses from this area. At the end of the day, the boreal forest biome it doesn't have a long enough summer to justify keeping them outdoors when it means that my animal handlers have to move all the way down here in order to feed them, and then when they slaughter them, they got to take them all the way up here. I have expanded these fungal fields by a bit, and I'll probably expand them by a bit more. And what I'm going to do is just have a more or less centralized area here. That's where all the fungal field is going to be. And then I'm just going to have the stable here, where I'm going to put down all the food and all the horses, and it's just going to really synchronize everything with the kitchen. Or at least that's the hope. We will, of course, see. But first thing I'm going to do is prep to have some mortars placed into here. That's going to involve mining away everywhere where either there is no roof or where I can remove the roof. Ideally, I'd like a pretty sizable battery here once all of this water is cleared away. Alright, mortars are in. Next I'm going to do sterile materials. I've got a plan. Okay, so it's a little basic, but you can see the plan here is to have 8 mortars divided by walls so that if any of them explode, they don't daisy chain the rest. And then we're gonna have the ammo stored over here under this overhead mountain so that it can't get blown up by an enemy mortar shell. There we go. That's right, let's clear all this away. Perfect. Okay, so now we've got an answer to both our fungus storing problem. Soon we're gonna have a solution or a dirt problem. Now there's one thing, is that this straw matting, as you might imagine, is hella flammable. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove all of these wires, just so that there's no silly little power outages that cause everything to fucking explode. Astounding. All right, now let's do a pen marker. Let's put this here. All right, great. Animals, horses. All right, Maker can spend the next, maybe not that long. Seems to be pretty okay at it. All right, there they are. Okay, and this should speed up our pawn's efficiency by quite a bit. Yeah, this doesn't seem cruel or forced at all. Oh man, my girlfriend's gonna give me shit for this. Oh no, there's more of them. Mechanoid cluster. Okay, let's see. And what does this thing have? A psychic suppressor. Initiates in 3.8 days. Okay, let's see. Look, a distraction. Okay, you want 9 capes. That's doable. And in exchange, I get 2 healer mech serum. That would let me regenerate 2 of Maker's limbs so we could take out those prosthetics. Ah, that'd be a permanent mood boost. Yeah, okay, you got a deal. Alright, so while there is a high shield here that would stop any mortar shells, it's gonna recharge in a couple of days, which would give me an opportunity to shell the cluster and cause all the mechs to come and attack me through my trap corridor. Unfortunately, while I've got a couple mortars up, I forgot that I need to research how to make chem fuel so that I can actually make the shells for the mortars, and it'd be a pain in the ass to get everything up and running in time. Alternatively, the cluster's dormant, so I can just build some cover and then engage with them directly. That'd be a lot riskier to my pawns, but a lot easier for me, so... Alright, and that looks to be everybody, except for Bot, little motherfucker. Alright, let's go. I'm gonna take out the Inferno turret, just because it seems like the biggest pain in the ass. And yep, see, Bot's on fire! Told you it was a pain in the ass. Now, believe it or not, I am actually cutting out a lot of micro here. You're welcome. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna try and intercept these Scythers with our melee boys. This is such a pain in the ass. Those drop pods are a problem. Alright, so we already got 1 Scyther down, Pikeman down. I think things are going pretty okay so far. No centipedes, which is good, which is very, very good. They're just... they would make it significantly harder. Okay, we got a bomb going. Alright, we already got one of our melee guys down, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all fine now. We just gotta double team this Scyther and... oh, fuck me! Maker died. Fuck. Okay, I think he was just beaten to death. Pawns can just die spontaneously if they take enough damage, and it doesn't look like anything vital got hit, so... oh, that is a shame, but... okay, well, we've just got a couple pikemen left at this point, so... yep, that's it. God damn. Well, no such thing as perfection, I suppose. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's take out the Psychic Suppressor now. Sounds like that was it. Alright, how's Beaver doing? So, let's see. Lost her right arm. That's fine. Beaver gets a new arm on her right arm. Good as new. Better than new, actually. Trevor, I need you to stop starting so many fights. Ah, come on! Just can't get a break, can I? Alright, all the insectoids are behind closed doors, which is very good. Oh, who's chopping at what? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, you can see the single wall. Uh-oh, I heard a gunshot. Who fired? Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're starting. Really hope Pretty Boy is able to... he should be able to. God, I really need some grenades or something to deal with shit like this. Let's see, consciousness is still fine. Everything is still fine, okay. Alright, what's left? There's one Mega Spider, he's down here. Well... I could, in theory, keep like one insect hive and then just farm them, but it seems like a pain, you know? Alright, well, that was kind of annoying with the timing, but ultimately not too harmful. Alright, submission expected. Okay, Sin. Let's begin a submission. Everybody present. Well, here lies Maker, one of our original pawns. Although he was no longer our primary crafter, he still contributed so much to the colony. All we can hope is that his soul is pure of bionics in the afterlife. Oh, it was lackluster. We're participating against -1 mood? Come on. I tried. I don't think we're gonna be able to make this. But 2 healer max serums? Fuck. Okay, fine. Alright, Hansy, you're gonna be doing some work, alright? Okay, well, I think it makes sense for the next thing to do to be building our temple. Alright, let's do morbid slab. We're gonna make our temple something to behold. Alright, we got 9 capes and 17 hours to go. I can make that, right? Oh, Urto. Where the hell's Urto? Ah, tits. Yes. Shaper, go. Fuck off. Get to Urto. Post haste. We're not gonna make it. Oh, well. Fuck. Could have done better. But it's the way it is, I suppose. Okay, well, the quest is over, but at the very least, we can buy a bunch of components. Let's see. 1 tribes people. Nah. Hey, dude. This isn't gonna work out the way you think it is. I've got a minigun and you've got a knife. Alright, great. Oh yeah, and let's not forget to replace the leg that Carver lost when he picked a fight with a melee specialist. Again. So I've revamped how we're gonna do biosculptors. I've got 2 little rooms just big enough to fit the biosculptor, tiled entirely in sterile tile. You get a speed boost from cleanliness, so if we ever need to de-age someone or put them in because they're just failing to overcome a disease, then this is going to be the best way to do it, I think. All right, Egginarium complete. Alright everybody, welcome to the Egginarium. From this point on, we'll be holding all of our religious ceremonies and weddings in here instead of the rec hall. If you have any questions or concerns about this change, please feel free to shove it up your ass, since I don't have time for your whinging. We've had a peaceful season since the infestation, but that doesn't mean we get to sit around and do nothing. The prison's been sitting empty for half a year, which means nobody's been getting tortured, which means that we are failing our religious duties. It's high time we set out on some raids. And it sounds like someone just volunteered to be first. But before that, our post-episode chat. Obviously, big rip to possibly the most hilarious thing that's happened in the playthrough so far. You know, the whole lost footage thing. Like, the Doomsday thing was so funny, I couldn't even be mad, but I was legitimately, like, just devastated when I found out that none of it had been recorded. But, you know, these things happen. I've taken to copying my save files so that if there's a recording issue, then I can just re-record a new play session. It means that, you know, everything gets displayed. But in this case, it felt wrong to effectively delete such an epic moment just because it wasn't recorded. So, yeah. And besides, the rest of the episode was mostly just boring stuff, like a bunch of research and a bunch of bionic replacements. There was nothing too fascinating. So, you know, it was probably best to skip over most of that kind of grunt work. I'm a little bit disappointed that today's episode clocked in at only about 18 minutes of playtime. I did misjudge the length a little bit, and unfortunately a combination of having to re-record that play session put me a bit behind, and there was like 1 or 2 days where I came home and I only spent like, you know, maybe an hour editing instead of my usual many. So the combination of those two did slow me down. But all that being said, I got through it pretty quickly. I'm getting better, I think, at recording in such a way to make the editing process faster. I know I keep bringing this up at the end of every episode, but that's because it's super, super important. At least in terms of the labor to playtime ratio, and I feel like that's getting better, and I definitely feel like the quality is getting better, so I'm glad both are improving at the same time. Yeah. In terms of what happened in this episode itself, I'm obviously happy that the Ignarium is done. I'm obviously sad that we lost Maker. Having a backup crafter is always really useful. And of course, he was one of my original 5, so that is a loss, but loss is part of the game. Episode 2 taught us that, if nothing else. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.